Hi, so my Hoya Carnosa is in bloom, and that means two things. First, that spring is really close, it's almost here. And second, that it's time for Hoya update. And so I'll start with my Hoya Carnosa, which was my first Hoya that I bought here at a home improvement store called Rona as a very small starter plant, which didn't even have a name, it just said tropical foliage. And it's grown pretty well for me. You see the leaves are a little bit yellow. That's because this window has a lot of sun. Now it's early morning, but pretty soon the sun will shine here. And I think that's why it washes the green out and makes it a bit yellow and even a bit reddish here. And this plant has two spikes, pinnacles, and there are two more coming. See, there's one right here and one on the left. So two more pentacles soon will bloom too. Develop and bloom. For now, it will bloom all summer, reusing these two. And it usually blooms, then loses the blooms, then takes a break for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then blooms again. And that's whole summer. And those blooms, they smell like chocolate to me. Hoya Carnosa. I have it potted in that pot that has no drainage hole. And I wouldn't recommend anyone to do it, especially if you have not much experience, because they usually do like draining hole in a pot. But the thing is that we have very narrow, stupidly narrow windowsills here. And the round pot, usual conventional round pot, that needed for this plant was too big for this windowsill. So I was searching everywhere for a suitable pot that would fit the plant and fit the windowsill, and I only found this one. And I just disciplined myself to not overwater it. Just being very careful with watering. This plant lives in this pot for 2 years now, and it's pretty happy. So if you can discipline yourself to water a little bit, then you can use pot without drainage hole, but it is kind of dangerous. So that's my Hoya Carnosa. And here's my Hoya Astralis, subspecies Astralis. It used to be in my orchid room, but it was too close to the light, to the sun there, and I noticed the leaves started to yellow a bit at the top. So I decided to keep it here for a while to see how it does. Now, this is the southern exposure window, and see, I have lots of, it's my succulent window. See those on my succulents, there's so many of them. I don't know their names already, I forgot. I'm sure some of them came with names, but I lost them. See, this one is blooming even. So pretty. I don't know the name, but it is so pretty. And so this is the southern exposure window, and only succulents can survive here. This one is a huge plant. And yeah, so this Hoya is up against this window, and it gets quite a lot of light here. And there's also pinnacle, but it doesn't seem to be developing. It's kind of stuck in this state, so I don't know if it will ever bloom or not. We'll see. But it's not dropping either, so hopefully maybe it'll bloom. That's Hoya Astralis, subspecies Astralis, and it's potted into a clay pot. And for the soil here I used just African violet soil I mixed with some perlite sponge rock. So this is my orchid room, and I do have few Hoyas here on the shelf, on the tops of the shelf. There, see? I'm gonna go on the step ladder and show them closer. Okay, so this is two Hoyas that I have here are Hoya Heuschkeliana, And look how large it is now. Both of these Hoyas, heuschkeliana and this wayetii, I started with very small cuttings. This one had just maybe 2 or 3 leaves. Now look, it's already producing vines for me. And the heuschkeliana already bloomed for me last year. And it's now giving me some side shoots, look. Really like it. And the heuschkeliana blooms with small yellow blooms that smell like butterscotch. Very nice smell. I like it. So that's a very nice Hoya. It's not very large. The leaves are kind of smallish. And maybe at some point I will let it just go on this rod where the orchid's hanging. I don't know if it'll like it. But yeah, that's Hoya Astralis. It's progressing very sorry, progressing very well. And here on this side I have a big Hoya Bella that Beverly, Lucy the cat, gave me. It's blooming a lot usually during summer. Let's see if it started to give us some. I don't see. Do I see? Oh yeah. See, there's a little peduncle there. And there's another one. So this one will bloom soon probably. I used to have it in the kitchen hanging where the Hoya Carnosa is, but there was too much sun there, so I had to move it here. And I think it likes this place better. It has all the room to grow into every direction it wants. So that's a Hoya Bella. And finally, Hoyas that grow in a tank. I have quite a few Hoyas in a tank here, and they are not allowed to have soil. So they're potted in coconut husk chips, which is topped with coconut coir mixed with perlite and a few pieces of charcoal. So that's how the mix looks at the top, see? I find that Hoyas do like this mix. I don't know if it would work outside of tank in a drier condition, but here in humid condition it works pretty well. Like all of the Hoyas that I repotted into this mix are doing great. And I also keep them up against window, and I created them these little hooks, see? That kind of holds them. And that's the way they climb. I'm adding hooks as they grow, kind of. So when this one started to hijack the orchid mound. But when it grows a little bit more, I will add another hook when it will be kind of long enough to be held on that hook. And so this is Hoya davidcummingii, I'm not sure how. Davidcummingii guy. You see, it really grew. It grew me too. There's one that I already gave a hook. See, it's there on the hook already. And so they will continue to grow on this wall, I think, and hopefully someday produce the blooms. Yeah, so this is davidcummingii, which grows really well. And this one here is thomsonii, which this one had very unfortunate history, because when I tried to create those hooks for the walls, it was the first one that I tried to put on the hooks, and my mistake was that I created the pattern from the hooks and then started to kind of bend the plant to fit the pattern, and it was a bad mistake because I broke the plant in many pieces. So then I figured that I better put the plant and then add the hooks in a direction the vine grows. Like, forget about pattern, but put the hooks where the Hoya needs it. And so that worked better. But this Hoya didn't suffer too much. See, there's one shot that gave me one little sprout, and this one is growing really long. See, I added another hook there. See, it's going way on the top. And so there are several sprouts because of, I think one goes on this. Yeah, one plant went there, see? So that's good. I was afraid that if I broke it, so it'll die or something, but I think every piece of that orchid actually rooted, and now it's progressing well. So I got a bushy plant. There's silver lining in that happening. So that's Hoya thomsonii. And what else I have here? There's Hoya fitchii, which is there. It has beautiful leaves. See the pattern? It's almost like a snake skin. And it also gave me a really long vine here. So that's the way they grow. They produce long vine, which looks bare and not really pretty, but later on they develop leaves on it. See, those leaves are kind of new on that vine. And so it's growing well too. And here's another one, and don't worry about this, it's fine there. It's not breaking like this mount, orchid mount, it's not breaking it, it's just kind of like covering it, but it doesn't bother Hoya for sure. This is Hoya, what's her name? Hoya rotundiflora. Now this one didn't do much since I repotted it, but it didn't die either, so it's probably slow to adjust, slower than two other ones or three other ones. And here in the corner I have huge Hoya, which is called Flores Island or Flores Island. I'm not sure how to pronounce. It has this large shiny leaves with veins. Very nice pattern of the leaves. There. See, the leaf is beautiful. And it's yeah, it's a very good growing Hoya. See, the vine went there into in the corner for some reason. So again, I made her a bunch of hooks to support, and yeah, I think it's growing well. It likes being in a tank. Hopefully one day it blooms. It's pretty large. Now here in the front corner of the tank I have Hoya vitelinoides. This one has huge leaves. It's very slow growing Hoya for me, but there is a vine at the top. Hopefully it's just thinking about producing some new leaves. That looks nice and fresh, so it probably likes being in a tank too. And down below I have Hoya finlaysonii. Again, that's a big Hoya. It has large leaves, and yeah, there are a bunch of branches, and it will have all that corner to itself to grow. So I didn't put any other Hoyas there, so I let her grow there. Hoya finlaysonii. Now there on the back I have two Hoyas that don't do much. One is Hoya erythrostemma, I think. Yeah, on the right is Hoya erythrostemma. See, it produced me pretty long vine and one leaf, but it's very slow. And on the left of erythrostemma there is Hoya odorata, which it's not doing that well. It could be bushier by now, So hopefully maybe it'll do something. I don't know, for some reason I don't have much luck with this Hoya odorata. Now this is Hoya callistophylla, and last year I was complaining that it's doing nothing, but look, now it produced me a whole bunch of new leaves and it's still doing it. See, there's another one coming. I think this one really enjoys the tank and the place it's growing. So it's, I think these Hoyas, when they grow larger and produce more leaves, they will create nice background for the orchids. That's why I put it there on the back, up against walls, just to have lots of greens here. I think this callistophylla looks really nice with the pattern. And yeah, so the same potting medium, potting mix, and I think it likes it. Those leaves are gorgeous. I don't know, does it focus? Hope you see them. And now moving further, I'll remove this mount because it's blocking everything. So here on the back I have Hoya serpens. That's the very little piece that left from a bigger plant that I have. For some reason, when I removed them, actually the story is I used to have all my Hoyas in a tank, potted in the soil on large trellises, but they took too much space and I didn't want any soil in the tank, so I removed them at some point. And when I removed them, the Hoya serpens really hated it. It just dried out a lot of leaves and even branches. And actually lots of Hoyas hated being out of tank, including this caudata that you have on the right. So that's why I actually decided to put them back in a tank, but without soil, because a lot of them hated being out of tank. And so that's the leftover of serpens, which is doing good, but it's now really small. And yeah, that's, as I said, this is caudata, which it's, see, there's a new vine growing on the left. And there's Hoya bordenii, which just produced new shot here, which will be progressing. And I think I've seen on the side, yeah, there's something growing there too. And right there, that's a small cutting of Hoya ciliata that I'm trying to propagate. So yeah, those are my Hoyas in a tank. And that was my Hoya tour, spring 2021. So please let me know what you think. Do you like my Hoyas? Do you have any suggestions or comments, or some critique would be nice too. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.